All right, everyone. Thank you. Thanks first to Investors Expo for inviting me to participate. And my section is what place do gold and silver serve in the crypto community? So this is an article that's put out, you can see, and it goes through a lot of reasons why gold-backed stablecoin makes sense. What is a gold-backed stablecoin? I'm not going to read this whole thing to you, but I will hit some of the high points. Gold-backed stablecoins are cryptocurrencies that attempt to peg the market value of the price of gold to make it a less volatile financial instrument. So let me stop there and talk about what my basic amount of work has entailed over the last 40 plus years. And that is that a sound money system is one that provides more equality through the richest to the poorest. When you have to actually get something of value for your labor, your intellectual property, whatever you do for work, and it's rewarded with something of value like gold or silver, it's a lot more of a system that's, again, fair for everybody. It's not perfect, but it's the most perfect we've ever had. In that context, there's a lot of negativity surrounding the precious metals from the mainstream financial media. And the reason being is that when people buy gold or silver, they basically hold it or save it like a savings account. So there's not a lot of fees for the Wall Streeters to gather when you buy, are a precious metals aficionado. Whereas if you're in the stock market, bond market, whatever, they're constantly persuading you to try to trade in and out or move stuff around or change your mutual fund, or even if you're in some of the more conventional investments, there's fees involved that they get to gather on a regular basis. So the gold market has proven itself time and time again throughout history. And yet you'll hear pundits talk about stocks doing better or bonds doing better. In certain time frames, that's true. But in the long run, gold prevails. And the reason gold prevails is because it's really money and people know it, some don't, but certainly the bankers do. And throughout history, it's been voted upon by the marketplace, in the free thinking marketplace, that it's the ultimate monetary asset. If you take an example that I like to use of when the Federal Reserve was founded in 1913, right at the end of the year, you could really say 1914. It was Christmas 1913. And you had a very rich uncle and he gave you $1 million in cash. And now you wake up 120 years later or 110 years later, and it's 2023 and you have $1 million. If you had gold, you would have over 48,000 gold pieces, because gold was $20.67 the ounce, and that would be worth $92 million. So what would you rather have after 110 years, a million or 92 million? And what that shows is the depreciation of the dollar. So all the stable coins, and they call them, it's interesting, they always call coins, Bitcoin, stable coin. Why is that? Is that something that, I'm digressing, but is that something to do with the gold coin standard? Something that is inherently known at maybe our subconscious level, that the best thing we can have is something of value to interact with each other, so that when we're doing labor and we're providing a service or some type of good, that we're actually getting something for it. So I digress, I'll come back. So all these stable coins that exist now, with Tether being the primary one, it's based on what? The dollar. But I just showed you 110 years, the dollar's lost over 90% of its value. In fact, it's worth about 2 or 3% of what it was in 1913. And that's stable? You got to be kidding me. It's not. And then if you dig in a little deeper into Tether, which I have, and I can't prove any of it yet, but what is their backing? Is it, did they put it all into the bank and it's all in US dollars or in T-bills? No. No, they bought commercial paper. It's rumored that Evergrande is something that they invested in, which of course went down the tubes, which means that that $1 that they purportedly have as a stable coin isn't so stable if the truth comes out. Now, the reason it may appear to be $1, and perhaps it is because of the fractional reserve system, or just the way big entities like that operate. Not everyone is going to cash out at the same time. So as long as they can float a lot of bad debt and don't have to show it, and the transactions that they're doing on a daily basis is say 10% of what their holdings are, you're good. So a lot of these things that are really unstable, if you were everyone decided to, perform, I'll call it a bank run, but performed the idea that they really wanted their money back. They wanted to move out of Tether into a gold-backed stable coin, for example. And everyone did it. And this is very, very, very unlikely. The point being is that with the way that system operates, they can get away with stuff that is undetectable until you really pull the covers back all the way. So enough on that. Going through the article, stable option, the volatility affects cryptocurrency's performance in the market. In some cases, volatility is beneficial, whereas in some cases it may have adverse effects, especially when prices fall or drop straight at a high rate. However, gold is a stable asset, holds stable value. It doesn't fluctuate frequently like Bitcoin. Investors find this form of digital asset safe to keep their funds, as it is one of the most stable markets today. Help make investment decision because of a stable option. The price fluctuation of gold-backed stable coins are understandable, aiding investors at the same time to help them make the right move. Liquidity. Gold-backed stable coins offer opportunities to utilize gold as a medium of exchange. Its widely accepted store of value can be accessible to buyers from all over the world. Hence, the barriers to entry into the gold market are also removed with this new innovation in the crypto world. For anyone who does not have the funds, cryptocurrencies allows them to invest in fractions of a coin to stake their finances an equivalent amount of gold in the company's holdings. No doubt, gold-backed stablecoin development is a great alternative for liquid assets. And I would add on to that, that one of the problems with the precious metals is barrier to entry, meaning that, there's 2 billion people on the planet that live on like $3 a day or less. I mean, their opportunity to buy gold is basically nil. But in the crypto world, you can buy gold or silver in a fractional basis, as I just read, which means someone that's living in Mexico, Indonesia, Turkey, Argentina, or what have you, that's facing frequent inflation, and precious metals are about the best thing they can invest in, now have the opportunity. So that's something I am very happy about. I am involved with one of these gold-backed or gold and silver-backed currencies, cryptocurrencies called LODE, L-O-D-E. If you're interested in finding out more, you can go to ag.lode.one, ag.lode.one. There's some videos on there that kind of explain it. So I want to talk about silver now. We've talked about gold being a stable coin and why it could be advantageous. The other side of the story, of course, is silver. It's hard to talk about gold and not talk about silver. What's interesting about silver is that if you look at a price chart of silver going back 4,000 years, the gold-silver ratio never got above 20 for all those 4,000 years, less the last 120 years or so. So what changed? And it's obvious, but I had to think about it for a while. But when silver and gold have the same function, which is money, the ratio stays pretty close to what the natural ratio is. And when silver was demonetized in 1873, which it really was remonetized later, but regardless, silver became an industrial commodity and money. Yet the money side has dwindled away from most of the consciousness of the modern world, because it just hasn't been used that way. Banks do not hold silver as a reserve asset, but they do hold gold as a reserve asset. So putting silver back into the monetary system through the blockchain is extremely powerful because it's a question of supply and demand, and the amount of silver is not very big, and the amount of demand for a stable coin or stable money is huge. In fact, it's going to go exponential as the dollar degrades at a faster rate, or in specific currencies, like if you were in Zimbabwe or Argentina or Turkey or some of these other places that the currency is depreciating at such a rapid rate, you'll do anything to get out of the currency and into something that will preserve your purchasing power. So coming back to this article, deflationary, the robust fiat currencies are highly prone to inflation. However, gold is deflationary. It means it is not affected by inflation, which makes it one of the ideal investment options for crypto enthusiasts or investors. The deflationary characteristics of the gold assets provides assurance of the value maintenance to investors. And gold will fluctuate, but really, in a way, it doesn't. And let me explain. An ounce of gold has the same mass anywhere in the universe forever. So it's a constant. There's no doubt about that. An ounce of gold is an ounce of gold forever. What fluctuates is the paper price of gold vis-a-vis different currencies. And that's determined by the market. But gold is stable. In fact, the most stable. Final words, the key factor that leads many to say yes to gold-backed currencies is transparency. Investors always urge for the maximum visibility to be confident that there is gold stored in a highly secured vault. Transparency is not only the reason why investors show interest in gold-backed stablecoins. The above listed points show why this investment option is so popular among investors and at the same time gaining traction with everyone worldwide. The rush for gold-backed stablecoins has encountered a major spike in growth in recent years. You may also want to invest in the same. It's crunch time to hire a reputable gold-backed stablecoin development company. They're touting theirs, and I'll go ahead and see if I could keep on the same screen here and go to ag.load.1. And hopefully my internet's doing fairly well. So this is, again, I'm associated with this. I have invested in this, so therefore I'm biased on this. But welcome to the Load Community, birthplace of honest money revolution, a global system built with real money, created by the people and for the people. We only have 14,000 active members, which is very small. You know, we should be in the 114 million range, and I think we will be as things progress. The main hang up on the load program, as I see it right now, is that the competitors in most cases provide a debit card where you can spend your gold and silver in the marketplace, transparent to the merchant, because all the merchant sees is a debit card. It interfaces with the banking system as it exists, and on the back end, you're debited out physical silver, gold, whatever you are using, and that is a big plus. The Load Project, is still not had a debit card in physical form. They did have a virtual card, which I used, which is just the 16 numbers, an expiration date, and a CVC number. And so I used it, and it worked perfectly, but it was only virtual. So you could only use it basically on the net for like Amazon or something like that. You can't take a virtual card to the gas station and buy gas. You need a physical card. That is coming. It keeps being delayed for various reasons. I think it will be available within the next 3 months or so. So if you want to wait until that's in place, certainly be my guest. Reinventing money together. I won't read this all. Join the movement. Explore the possibilities. I'd love to play this Imagine video, and I'm going to play it for just a minute. If it doesn't come across for everybody, just tell me and I'll turn it off.
Sure.
Imagine a world where your money is protected by a standard that has stood the test of time. Imagine a system where your money is worth more than its weight in silver. Imagine that you, along with millions of like-minded precious metal enthusiasts, now have access to a powerful tool that enables the construction of sound money for everyone. Welcome to Load, the future of money. The future of money is being constructed right before your very eyes. Yep, right before your eyes. Load is a global community of sound money advocates with the sole mandate to restore silver to its historic prominence as a medium of exchange and unit of account for the settling of global trade and commerce. Utilizing the power of distributed ledger technology known as blockchain, it is now possible to digitally tokenize physical grams of vaulted silver and put them to work on the internet as a store of value. The blockchain makes it possible to keep track of these grams of silver to infinity as millions of global users transact on mobile devices and laptop computers. The load system creates safe, secure, stable, borderless silver money. The powerful load silver money system levels the economic playing field, making silver accessible and easy to spend and send for anyone, anywhere, anytime worldwide. The system enables the creation of modern money, known as AGX coin, which is the world's first digital silver money designed for a global community. AGX coins make it possible to pay for goods and services in digital silver. It is a low-cost, high-speed, immutable, verifiable way to transmit and transact with silver using modern technology. It has been said that nothing is more powerful than an idea whose time has come. When people come together, powerful things happen, and the world will change for the better. Imagine a better world. The Load community likes that idea and believes that you will too. Take part in the modern silver money revolution by joining the Load community today. Visit www.load.one. Learn more about AGX Pay and the Load silver money system. Join the thousands of active Load members. Get started by activating a member account and put silver to work today. Load, constructing the future of money.
All right, hopefully that played okay for everyone. So this is a couple more comments I have in my notes, and that is the ease of transaction. I mean, the problem with going back to a gold coin or gold and silver coin standard in the modern era is how do you make change? I mean, for example, there's about 3 states in the US right now that these states have passed legislation where anyone in that state can use gold or silver for any transaction as long as both parties are in agreement, which is wonderful. But has that really provided a super highway for a lot of transactions to take place in precious metals? The answer is no. And the reason is, how do you account for making a purchase with, say, Silver Eagles? What is your change? What do you get in change? Fiat? Do they have lower value, or do they have smaller coins and that? And the answer is no. So the only way to really do it is to do what we've done now in the modern era, and that's basically put your money on your phone. And with your gold, if you can have money on your phone and it's gold or silver or both, you have a very powerful tool for purchasing power, protecting against inflation, and transacting again, where the merchants are basically not aware of the fact that you're using gold or silver as money, because again, it goes through the same system as the banking system that already exists, and it's only on the back end where you are debited out again the amount of gold or silver that's equivalent. The other thing about the old days, let's say when we used, real money, was the fear of theft or losing it or whatever. And that's why the currencies that were gold backed were so popular, because they were lighter in weight. You could change the denomination. In other words, $1 was worth, 1/20th an ounce of gold approximately at one time, not anymore, of course. And so that was very good to have a receipt that wasn't money but represented money. A silver certificate, for example, says that this is a silver certificate, and that in the Treasury of the United States there is $1, which is a weight of silver that's backing that piece of paper. And that's the way it used to be up until 1965. So the last thing I want to talk about is the gold silver ratio. As I said before, in the 4,000 years, the gold silver ratio never got above 20. Most of the time it stayed around 12, which was the natural ratio of how silver comes out of the earth compared to gold. Right now, that ratio has dropped to 7-to-1, meaning for every ounce of gold that's taken out of the ground, only 7 ounces of silver are taken out of the ground, which implies going from 12-to-1 to 7-to-1 is that a lot of the easy to get to silver has already been mined and taken out, and that the grades are getting lower and lower, and they are in the silver market, and especially in the so we're seeing the price of gold do fairly well around the upper 1900 level. It will break out, I think, before the end of this year. And once it breaks out above the current high, which I think is 2,078 in US dollar terms, somewhere in that range. Once it gets above that and stays there, and that resistance becomes becomes support, then we'll see a lot of new purchases come in, because the algorithms that are running Wall Street these days will see it as a new high, and they'll come in and buy the new high. So there's a lot there. So I think I've got several minutes left, and I want to turn it over to you and see what kind of questions we've generated. My website, I'll put it up here. It's themorganreport.com. And we have a free letter, which you just put your name and your email here. Hit that, it'll double you opt in. In other words, it'll send you an email, say verify that you are you and you want this. There is a subscription service, and it comes in, here's the sales letter basically. You can scroll down, read the whole pitch. But here's the meat of it. I have a model portfolio. This is how I've invested in the market, and done rather well throughout the years. I do videos during, the letter comes out once a month, but in between the letter, I do whatever trading or updates or whatever by video. Personally, I just do it, none of my staff. Sometimes I involve the staff. Most of the time it's just me showing you what I'm doing. A lot of times it's letters or questions to the editor that I think are of value to the whole community, so I put them up and explain them. We have an email and a text service. We do research. We're probably the only one in the retail sector that does Wall Street quality, in fact, probably better than Wall Street quality reports on these mining companies. Sometimes we're first, and that's great. And sometimes when you're first, it's not so great. One of my favorite speculations really is not doing well at all. In fact, it may go off the board. My rules, if you follow them, will protect you. On these speculations, I tell you right off the bat to bet money you can afford to lose. And then as a member, you can ask me questions, and I guarantee you I'll give you the answer. There's a lot of bonus reports. So that's it. You can do it free for 30 days. And you'll get my latest speculation. You'll have to read back a couple months. I suggest if you get on this free for 30-day service, and that's the basic one, or the premium here, sorry. The premium is the lowest, mastermind. You will get the ability to go back in time, and you can print them out or whatever. My point being is I do have a speculation. It's a brand new one. It's in the Silver Valley. I toured it. Almost all these speculations, I'm actually on the property, me or one of my staff. So we're really there to see, what's up and which way the wind blows. Because a lot of people in the gold letter news industry just basically are armchair analysts. They never go to the property, whatever we do. Well, I'd say there's a couple. I mean, anything by Murray Rothbard is great. He wrote a book called "What Has the Government Done to Our Money?" That's a good one. There's another one called Money Ye Shall Have Honest Weights and Measures. That's by James Ewart, E-W-E or A-R-T. I think it's E-W-A-R-T. Of course, there's the classics like Security Analysis, but that's a huge book and it's a pretty tough read, but it's very good. But I'd say learning why you would want to be in precious metals rather than me just telling you, I think that's important. And that would be basically what has the government done to our money? Anything from the Mises Institute's pretty good to read. So you go to Mises, MISES.org, and look at their library. But I think that's a good way to get started, to understand what the stability of the marketplace is under a gold standard and what the repercussions are of going off a gold standard. And Murray Rothbard is probably the best at explaining it.